hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. So this is my first video here. Just wanted to show you guys kind of what I'm driving here and that I actually know what I'm doing with a standard. A lot of guys drive automatics out in the bush, and actually a lot of people think that my truck's an automatic, just like when I go driving by. It's pretty smooth when you get to practice with it. I really enjoy the short shifter on a Western Star. I see these guys who got the shifter just about touching the ceiling of their truck, and I always wonder how they manage. My back gets frickin' sore when I gotta hold my arms up in the air like that all day to drive. It just doesn't feel right. But to each his own. Anyway, we're off to go get a load of logs. Yeah, I'll chat with you when I get to the block. I didn't actually record the drive to the block, but it was uneventful, so here we are.
You betcha.
So a lot of people don't really realize, but the truck is pretty close to the same width as the path that they give us to drive on, and it's 80 feet long too. There's a lot of truck behind me to get around these corners, so we usually go pretty slow through the block. It's not a race, so I'm just gonna speed it up here a little bit until we get to this one hill. So I've currently got one set of chains on. Come down this hill here. It's a little steep spot. The trailer usually pushes the truck down a little bit. Jake's kick out. That's not too bad. This load here, I got a load of pulp on, so it's actually tail heavy. We usually try to keep the weight focused towards the front of the truck. So that we have more weight on our drives, but usually try to stay around 2 ton difference between the front to the back. If you have 2 ton heavier on the front than the back, then you pretty much make it anywhere. But in this case here, this load's a little bit tail heavy. I'm about 2 ton heavier on the back than I am on the front, truck included, so it's actually a bit of a drag to get through some of these hills. You got to do it real slow too, because when your trailer's heavier than your truck, you got to keep in mind that the trailer could take control of the truck at any time. So we usually go really slow and nice and carefully. Some of these hills you really don't want to slide backwards down. You'll be in a real mess if you do. Kind of like this one coming up. I'll show you. This little lump here is so sketchy. It leans way over to the right, so I always take it kind of funny. But yeah, it's it really leans over coming over this. The camera doesn't do it a lot of justice. Anyway, here comes this hill. It's you usually gotta go slow because you can't really take a run at it. If you try and take a run at it, you're gonna be in the wrong gear for when you get to the top and you start spinning out. You see here, I spin out pretty quickly, like right around the bottom here, and then it's just throttle control is all it is, and you can drag pretty much anything up any hill. Yeah, so if you couldn't tell, that took quite a bit of footwork to get up that. That was like first gear. And yeah, I basically let it come down to almost an idle. Just don't give up when you're spinning out. Just try until you're going backwards almost, is my theory. Because if you're still moving forwards, even if it's an inch at a time, you're still moving forwards. Anyway, let's come down this hill here. It's really slippery about halfway down. The brakes kind of start sliding and you just I gotta start grabbing gears. It's pretty steep. This hill here, you gotta kind of use your trailer spike, because if you don't, it's like a slope to the left as you're coming around the corner there, and if you don't have your trailer spike, your trailer will push the back of the truck over. You can almost see right there where it happened to somebody a little earlier. He must have come down that a little fast. Imagine that was sketchy. But yeah, that's why I always go slow. I don't like being scared. There's no reason for it. You just control the truck. There's always a way to stay under control. It's usually keeping your cool. That's what I find. Well, we made her safely down. Just gonna hop out here and wrap up, and then I'll take you over to the main road there, and we'll go from where I take my chains off to the satellite yard as fast as we can. Go to the satellite yard now as fast as we can. So, just took my chains off here. We're on the Wolf Creek Road, and we're gonna head down to the satellite yard. Speed limit's 80, so believe you me, I'm trying to do 80 the whole time. This is a really steep hill here. Pretty much all the hills are steep, but anyway, here we go. 382 loaded log. Yeah, the camera really doesn't do the hills much justice, but like this hill we're going down, it's a few kilometers long. funny, just as I was listening to myself say that, I was remembering a few weeks after we finished in this road here on the Wolf Creek Road, there was a bunch of bulkers who tried to go in the other way, and they had a hell of a time. Every one of them was spun out, and yeah, it was it's kind of funny when you haul a road with no chains, with overloaded and everything, and you do it for a month and don't have a problem, and then the next round of guys goes in and they just can't even get themselves in there. It's like, yep. Definitely a game of momentum playing around in the hills like this with a lot of weight. Oh, I might have been too greedy. Practice using your trailer's bike. Get yourself around sketchy corners. trucks and work probably do have six packs from being a trucker. But you have to understand, I sit on my butt all day long. I spend about 15 minutes a day outside the truck. So it's that bumping and weaving around and just bouncing all day long in there. It actually takes like a lot out of you. I mean, I do 5-6 of these rounds a day. So, I mean, I spend pretty much a full day every day out there in the truck. So, yeah, it gives you a workout, believe it or not.
A few more kilometers to go yet, and then we'll turn into the satellite yard here. 2 kilometers to go. There's the one flat spot in the whole fucking place. Truck's pretty good. It's a 2020 Western Star 4900W, but it's a heavy spec. It's got the Rockwell 1860 rear end in it or something like that, 430 gears in it, full locked up. I think I'll do 100 kilometers an hour fully locked up. Really enjoy that. It helps with these long hills when you're empty. It's a lot harder to get around when you're empty. Right? But yeah, it's a good truck to try drive. Pretty much goes where I pointed, especially when you got 30 ton on the drives. Works really well. There's our loader way off in the distance there.
72 loaded.
Load of logs clearing the main at 66. Fresh powder over top of the ice makes it a little slippery. Gotta be careful.
So this has been my first video. I hope you guys enjoy, and hope I didn't bore you too much. That's log hauling, I guess. But yeah, just gonna pull in here and get unwrapped, and I'll show you a little clip of the truck here and the load. It's a little bit of wood sticking off of it, but that's okay. We're off highway and it's basically private property, so not a big deal. Anyway, hope you enjoy. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you want to see some more. I'd be glad to make some more videos. Take care.
Gear here, I'll take you outside and show you what we're driving.
70 loaded.
Biggest, loudest log truck around. she's full. Full of pulpwood. Right on. Well, I'm gonna get this thing unwrapped here and get her unloaded.